I'm Sue Ellam, and for 25 years I've been a tarot reader, and I use the Mythic Tarot, which are based on Greek mythology.
Hello, and I'm Carrie Beleno. For 20 plus years, I have been a practicing Reiki, intuitive Reiki master teacher and a spiritual life coach. And we have practical questions here for you. So, practical questions, real questions, practical answers, we hope. Okay, two are stuck together. Well, this is a new agey thing, so let's bring it down a notch, Sue, from the new age blah blah to something very useful. Ready?
Okay.
How do we separate from energy vampires?
How to separate from energy vampires. Yes.
Because immediately people think of the new agey dark entities following us kind of thing, but I think there's a practical side to this.
Yeah, it could be your great aunt Edna. Apologies to any great aunt Ednas out there.
Yeah, right. Sorry. Don't mean to upset the masses.
No, absolutely. Let's separate.
I guess first order would be to define in our practicalness what an energy vampire is. So
yeah, well, for me it's somebody that steals your energy because they don't realize that they can get their own from source. So they can be somebody within your family, a friend, somebody that needs constant support, constant help. And after you've been with them, you feel absolutely washed out. You're drained because they are just drawing. And what I was told many years ago is one way of protecting yourself is imagine you've got a great big gold plate on one hand and slap it over your solar plexus. And that can help protect you from having your energy stolen. And this is what they're doing. They're kind of depending on you so much that you just are drained. And that's, for me, is an energy vampire. Mm-hmm. How about you?
Thank you. Yes, I do too, but I'm gonna just throw out there that because of the soul partnerships we've created, that it's a mutual thing, that you are giving because you've agreed to give on some level. So now it's time to take your power back too. And it's not just about them being disempowered, it's about you being empowered to take your gifts, energy, assistance, whatever, power back as well.
So it could be a soul contract, but in a previous lifetime, a couple of people were so dependent on each other that there was no separation between them. And though this lifetime, it is for both people to actually go and have their own power.
Correct. That's the way I see it.
Yeah. Interesting, because the first card here is keeping hold of your vision for what you want and not letting anyone else sidetrack you or drain your energy or anything like that. This is about being very clear about what you want from your own life and hold on to that vision and not to allow yourself to get sidetracked by anybody. Now this here we've got about mutual support. Now mutual support is one thing, and that again, as I emphasize the word mutual, you help people, you help someone else, they help you. It's, you know, if you're feeling sick one day, somebody will cook your dinner for you. If they're feeling sick another day, you will cook their dinner for them. That is what I'm talking about, mutual love and support. It's not about one person being completely dependent upon the other, serving them the whole time. And it's also there's another level to this as well, because the person that is having their energy and taken in some ways, they get tired, yes, but there's also this feeling of, I'm a martyr, and you've got to be careful of not, well, I'm always doing this for those person, and I'm special, and I'm a martyr, they really, really need me, and and I'm really important because of that. That can be a trick we can, or kind of a lie we can persuade ourselves of, because believe me, if it wasn't us, it would be somebody else they'd be doing it to. So there's also, we have to look at the mutual side of things. We've also got here, there's opportunities that will be able to come our way from out of the blue. So this is about not letting our opportunities slip away because we haven't got the energy to pursue them. So it's opportunities for the other person as well, and they might come in different forms. They might not look great to start off with, but if it's you attracting, this is the you I'm talking to is a person who's watching this video. It's you attracting new things to you. And if you are somebody that has made yourself into like, a helper, everybody knows that you help and you give all of yourself. The word has got around, and now everybody that needs help comes to you. They don't give anything to you, they just come to you. So be aware, if it's not you, it's you having to rise, it's you having to hold on to your own, say, self-esteem is one word for it, but understand that your purpose isn't to support people that can support themselves. You can help them while they're down and then send them on their way when they're feeling strong enough. But this isn't a lifelong dependency. It's just be aware that, the wheel of fortune's turning, and with wheels, it turns once, then somebody else will join. It makes me think about the people that, say, rescue animals or foster children, or they have the child for a while or the animal for a while until it can be adopted by somebody that can give it everything it needs for life or for the rest of the child's childhood. So be prepared to, I said, help when it's really needed, but don't kind of hold on to that person because they give you a feeling of fulfillment, of you being needed. It's a tricky one because it's a feeling of, oh, I'm really needed, but you could just not be fulfilling your purpose. But this is about you getting to the point of, who am I? What's my purpose? Why am I here on this planet? So energy vampires, they do get old after a while. You do feel exhausted. Somebody will come in or somebody will phone you and you immediately, your heart drops. You think, oh, this is going to be 2 hours of my life listening to their moans and groans, and as a reader, and I've been, I said, a reader for many years, and I suppose I really started kind of, I suppose, listening to people long before that. It gets to a point sometimes that you just don't answer that phone when you see their name. You give them, then maybe a few days later, you kind of phone them just to make sure they're okay, and by that time they've solved the problem themselves. So it's like being prepared to give them their space, even when they don't want to have their space. So it's being discerning and saying, well, what is my life about? My life isn't about making sure so and so knows when when to get her carpets fitted, or listening to the same thing. And also, I'm also quite firm about things when people come back to me with the same problems over, and they haven't learned. And it's like, okay, well, so and so, so and so. I said, well, this is the same thing as you were talking about 5 years ago. So be prepared to cut people loose as well, and let them go to somebody else if they just want to be that person that's on the turntable, always the same song, because it means that they have a connection with you on in that particular song. Then it's not kind to them either, because you're allowing them, by virtue of listening to them and always being there for them, to stay in that same groove. They're in that rut, and they have no need to get out of that rut, because you're always there for them. So let them, push them, being cruel to be kind in a way. Say, look, you've come back to me for so many times with the same thing. I've given you my advice time and time again. You haven't listened to it. Time you go and ask somebody else. I'm obviously not the right person for you. And I said, cruel to be kind, and you might have a few darts thrown at you for a while, but you've got to think about the other person, the person that is the energy vampire, who feels that's their only way of anyone paying attention to them. There's a reason for that. So to help them out of that state is the best thing you can do. And then you will learn something for it, and maybe you can help others. So those are the cards.
Well, I would just like to reaffirm a few things that Sue said. The reason they feel like a vampire is because the emotions that they are engaging in are typically fear emotions. So the reason they feel like they are sucking you dry is because their vibration, their emotional vibration of fear or anger or frustration or guilt or sadness, whatever their overlying emotions tend to be, are not what yours are. Otherwise, if yours were exactly the same, you wouldn't notice that they're an energy vampire. You noticing that they're sucking you dry because you tend to be a little bit higher in your emotional plateau. So you may operate from a place of contentment, or a place of patience, or maybe you've hit joy and happiness, or you just tend to float around there. These people have difficulty getting there. They have difficulty seeing that part of their lives that are truly joyful. And so there's this disconnect between the two of you. And that's why you're feeling this energy dissonance, and you're feeling like you're being sucked dry. What's really important around what Sue said is that when you decide that that isn't a place that you're going to drop down to any longer, that you can't feel guilty, because it's not being selfish, it's self-preservation. And you staying in that content, peaceful place is much more beneficial to you, your health, your family, and the world around you than helping them in dropping down here and being of service to someone who is constantly in that lower emotion. So it's important that you stay here for your health and for the lifting of the world, quite frankly. So if you think that you're no longer helping because you're not with that person, I assure you, you are doing more good and more help by staying up here where you are happier and more content. Yes, also make sure that you're not fulfilling a need of self-worth by engaging and helping these people. Make sure that you're not trying to fulfill a place where you're serving, feeling your worth. Your worth is you working on staying here. That's where you belong. That's where we all belong. That's what I hope that this chaos we're in the world right now is showing us. Where's our happy place? So it's most you can be a model for those people when you stay up here. So that's what I'm going to encourage you to do.
Okay. And I've no more to add to that.
So subscribe, like, and share. If you are watching this on my podcast or on SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, please feel free to check out my YouTube channel. It's just Carrie Beleno. And that way you can see the visuals and the cards that Sue is presenting as we are giving these guidance messages.
Thanks very much for joining us. Bye.
And we'll see you tomorrow.